All right, MSP leaders, if you're ready for your unique voice to be heard in a crowded market and be in a situation where your clients, prospects, and community come to you for guidance, it's time to be a thought leader. And that's what we're going to tackle today with our 5 tips on how to quickly become an MSP thought leader. Because the number one thing that holds MSP thought leaders back from becoming thought leaders is actually doing it. Taking the time to share information with your clients, prospects, and community that helps them move forward. So let's get started. First is choosing your niche. Now, in the IT space, there are so many areas where you can have expertise or bring expertise to your clients, prospects, and communities to help them move forward. But it's picking the first one. It'd be easy to go out, talk about one problem one day and another problem another day and just keep moving forward. But if we really want to make impact, we need to focus on an area for a little bit so we can get enough education out there that helps move the needle. And like we said, there are a lot of areas to bring thought leadership in the community, and we need this thought leadership out there. Most small businesses understand the support side of things, but most small businesses don't really know their level of risk. So focusing on cybersecurity, BCDR, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity insurance, data management, or even things like as a service, how to turn capital purchases into expenses, BYOD, and things like compliance can bring a significant value to your community. So while you have a lot of knowledge in a lot of areas, choose a niche that's specific to start. The second step is to choose your communication. Now this is going to have 2 parts. We're going to have the platform that we communicate our thought leadership, and we're going to have the direction to get to that platform. So when we say platform, we typically think about social platforms right out of the way. Things like LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, but it could also be webinars. It could be in-person events. It could be a basic email or a blog, even a podcast or a YouTube video. All of these are platforms to help share your information. And just like niche, we should pick one to start. Again, we will be expanding as you expand your thought leadership and impact. But selecting one to start will help get the ball moving forward. Second half of this is how you engage with your clients, prospects, and communities, and how you direct them to that platform. And that'll be simple things like email, QBR conversations, signature links. Post on those social media platforms to direct to the information. But again, we're going to keep this as simple as possible for the first couple passes. We'll get more and more complex as you go and as your thought leadership expands, which leads us to number 3, which is choose your audience. Now, we know what we're going to talk about. We know the platform we're going to use. We know how we're going to guide people to that, but who do we want to talk to? Now, the initial answer is I want to talk to everybody. I want anyone who will listen to consume this information. And while that'll make you feel good, at the end of the day, we really want to be talking specifically to a type of person. And that may be an owner or a sales leader, or maybe the financial leader, or even the internal IT team. Whatever you feel most comfortable with should be the first place to start. And like we're going to say in all these, this will expand. But again, if we start with a singular focus, we can do a really great job and then expand that focus, just like managed services. So once we know what we're talking about, how we're going to get that information out, and who we're talking to, it's time to build the process. So when we say process, we're really saying the step-by-step instructions to get the information out of your head and into the platform. And while your process is likely going to change, especially as you expand, we'll start with things like brainstorming and research. We'll move to defining the problem that your audience is going to have with your topic. We'll then help them understand the solution to the problem that they have with your topic. We'll always build a call to action, even if that call to action is to research something themselves. It doesn't always have to be sales driven from your company. And in fact, a lot of times that just feels more natural and builds your reputation significantly. So think about a call to action that you would want to take if somebody was talking to you about this problem. Once we have that, it's time to create and review the copy. When we say copy, we're going to say the blog, email, script we're going to do, slideshow we're going to present, information we're going to provide. And while we want to review it ourselves, it's definitely helpful to have a second set of eyes review it for you as well. I know when I'm working on a PowerPoint for several hours in a row, I get so close that I may not see a glaring problem in front of me. And I'll send that to somebody I trust very much to review it, and they'll point out the problems right away, and then I'll feel a little silly. But that's okay. I'd rather feel silly with my trusted person reviewing it than to send something out that is incorrect. And the last step is typically the one that trips everybody up. Send it out. Get it on the platform and then communicate with your clients, your prospects, and your community so that they can go see it. And if it's a webinar you're going to give, make sure the invites are there. If it's a video, a blog, email, just try to make it as personal as possible and make sure they understand that you're doing this just for education. And number 5 is get started. Now, if you've taken the time to build the process, it feels like you're getting started already. But if you choose your niche, both sides of communication, you pick your audience, you build your process, and you don't actually do it, all that work will be wasted. And we have a significant drought of thought leadership in the MSP community. So we're going to definitely encourage you to do that last part and just get started. All right, so let's get into our example. And the first thing we need to do is pick our niche. Now, like many of you, I've been in the IT industry for a long time. I've managed and ran and owned MSPs, and I've had to spend a lot of time protecting data. And I'm going to start there because I feel like there's a lot of misleading information in the data protection field. Next, we're going to go into communication. And remember, there's two pieces of communication: what platform you're going to use and how you're going to guide people there. And I like to write, so I'm going to create a blog post. And I'm going to put it on LinkedIn because it's easy to share, and I'm hoping other people that I might not know will see it. And I'll also direct people to that post through Facebook and maybe any QBR invites that I have coming up in the next quarter. And if the article is really awesome, I might even put a link in my email signature. So that'll give me a few different ways to direct people to that information. So now that I know my niche of data protection, I know I'm going to do a blog post, and I'm going to use several ways to direct people to that blog post. I need to figure out who I want to talk to. And for this example, I'm going to use small to mid-sized organization owners. I want to have this owner conversation because there's a couple key problems that they may not realize they have in their organizations. And I don't think the topic is really going to hit home on the sales, financial, operations, or even the internal IT side. So that leads me into preparation. So the problem I'm going to identify is data location. So as I go through brainstorming and preparation, I'm going to get to a problem that a lot of small businesses have, which is their data is growing outward from their company. A lot of small businesses have Microsoft 365, and they'll have SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, and then obviously email inboxes. They're very likely to have the same data in multiple locations, and none of it truly protected. In addition, they may have HR systems, financial systems, intellectual property and trade secrets, sales information, spread amongst other SaaS applications or maybe internal servers. In addition, they have all the data on end user computers. So we want to bring light to these challenges. The data is growing outward from the company. And if you want to make sure you can protect it, we have to identify where it's at. So the problem is, where's the data located? And the solution is finding the data. Now, in a small company, this may be an easy conversation. But in a much larger company, it could take some time to identify all the locations of their information. They may need to bring in other team leaders or other employees. And obviously, as an MSP, you can help them with this process. And we're going to definitely offer that. Now, they can obviously call you for help, and we want to help them. But at the end of the day, your thought leadership is really just showing them the problem and how to solve it. If they call you, that means your thought leadership worked and they knew that you were the right person to help them with this problem. Now I need to take some action and actually write the blog post. And once I finish that blog post, I'm going to have a trusted friend review it for me. Because I know many times I've worked on a presentation for hours and I don't see the typos. I don't see the grammar challenges just because I'm too close to it. And if I'm going to be embarrassed, I'd rather have my friend embarrass me and give me a hard time by a typo or some grammar challenges than have it go out to the world and be embarrassed or lose credibility with my clients, prospects, and community, which is what we desperately need. We need your thoughts, your ideas out in the community. Small businesses are struggling to protect their own data. They often don't think they're a target, and a lot of times they're just not as protected as they need to be. So your thought leadership can help. I'm Jim Peterson, Principal Solution Advisor at ConnectWise, and we are here to help. We've created a lot of brandable assets that you can leverage to get information out about challenges that you know about in the SMB community. We also love to help with webinars and in-person events. We can help you from picking an event all the way through delivering the content and everything in between. We're here for you, so hit us up.
Let's go!